NBA futures. We're going to go over some player prop futures for the 24-25 NBA season. Then we're going to go over some of our favorite team totals. Welcome, everyone. Joining me, my good friend, Steve Seagrave. And we crushed futures in the NBA last season. Like,
Yes.
absolutely crushed futures. And you're like me. You're all in on the futures, man. It is a hidden gem.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
yeah, so we're looking forward to NBA. You've been doing a ton of articles.
Yes, sir.
So you have articles up about like awards. Probably like tell everyone where all that is at because you are not short of content. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's all over at Wager Talk News on Twitter, and then I post them as well on my page. I connect the links to my page as well, so you can check that all out over at Twitter.
Yeah, it's really really great content. So if you're like us and you love futures, absolutely check that out. So, all right, well let's just jump right into it here. So what Steve and I have done, he's picked 5 player prop futures, and I picked 5 player prop futures. We'll go over those, and then we'll go over our top 3. So Steve, I'll get us started here, and I'm gonna really upset the NBA community and the gambling gods. They're not gonna like this. I'm going Steph Curry under his point total this year at
Okay.
26.1. It feels sacrilegious. It feels gross. It feels disgusting. But Steve, this guy's 36 years old. He averaged 26.4 last year. He averaged 29.4 the year before. So we're talking a 3-point drop from one year to the other. And here's the other thing. I actually kind of like this Golden State team. I think they added some nice pieces where he's not going to completely have to do the 30-point thing every night for them to win. You know, they've got Draymond who should be healthy. I like their signing of Buddy Hield. They've got another year of Kuminga. They've got Ludi, Melton, Moses Moody, Garrett Payton, Andrew Wiggins. This is not a completely bare cupboard here. Clay is out of the way. And I just wonder if Steph just doesn't quite have to do as much. I'm wondering if these guys are going to contribute a little bit more, especially Buddy Hield. He's been really good in the preseason. Like he's averaging almost 3 pointers per game in like 17 minutes. So I got Steph going under just a little bit. I mean, how many years left do they have to make a playoff run? 1?
Yeah, right. 100%.
So like I think this is probably a year where they go, Steph, you're not going to play that many minutes in the regular season. So my first one, I'm going to go Steph Curry under 26.1. I think he takes just a little step back in points. So that's my first one. What's the first one you got for us?
So I'm going with and by the way, I like Buddy Hield a lot. Actually, my article for the Sixth Man Award is Hield at
nice.
plus 1400. He actually managed, interesting thing, he actually managed to play 84 games last season between Philadelphia and Indiana. I just found that interesting. He's durable though. He can put up. He's not afraid to shoot it. So he's the guy, my sixth man. This is kind of a chalk play. I'm going not most assists. I'm sorry, over 9.5 assists for Luka Doncic. I know it's chalky, but he it's over 9.5. He had a career high. I'm sorry, last season with 9.8 per game. I could see this guy averaging a triple-double this season. I really think it's possible that he averages a triple-double. He's going to be more comfortable with Kyrie Irving, Thompson in the mix. He's got those lobs to Lively and Gafford, which are both just those that can really add to his total. And I like a small sprinkle on most assists at plus 800. He's got the third shortest odds behind Trae Young and Halliburton. And I just think Young is going to take on more of a role as a scorer. I'll talk more about him after. And then Halliburton, I feel like, is an injury concern potentially. They're both at 10.7, and Doncic is at 9.5. I love his over, but a small sprinkle on most assists per game at plus 800.
I really like this one, and I liked it so much that this was like my runner-up for being in here. But I'll tell you what I actually went with instead. I went Luka under 33.1 points because I think his assists are going to go up. I'm with you. It's weird. I did not like this team, and then all of a sudden they add Gafford and those guys and Lively so the guys that he has on his team, and this is to your point, these two go hand in hand. He's got Dinwiddie, Gafford, Exum, Grimes, Kyrie, a healthy Maxi Kleber, Derek Lively, PJ Washington, and Klay Thompson. Are all those guys like huge scorers? No, but I think they're good enough to where Luka can work the assists a little bit more and not have to do as much. This is a guy that averaged 32.5 points to end the regular season after they got Gafford and those guys. So you kind of saw it last year. He was like averaging 34 points per game before that, and then drops down a little bit. So I think our plays go hand in hand. I expect a little bit lesser scoring, and that's just a lot, man. 33.1 on a team
Yeah,
with
it's a
Kyrie and
big total.
Klay. Yeah, I think Klay has 1 or 2 really good years left in him. I could see Klay having a big year with a lot of assists coming to him. So pretty interesting plays there that I think we have hand in hand. What's your second one?
So I'll just stick with the assist category because those I'll just stay with those. Those are my I'll start with those for my top three. Trae Young, we just mentioned him, and he's sitting at 10.7 assists per game. I'm going under on him. It's pretty short and simple. He had a career high last year with only 10.8. So he just snuck over that number. I just think without DeJounte Murray in the mix, there's one less guy to score with him to pass to, and I just don't see a ton of scorers surrounding Young for him to go over this total again. I just think he takes on more of a scoring role, and that keeps him under this number this season.
I like it. It's a big number. Like you got to have. That's just a lot. That's just a huge number to have over over an entire season. So I'm gonna go back to points, and this is a real theme with me on the unders. I'm going Jalen Williams, and I'm going under 20.8. 14.1 is rookie year, 19.1 last year. There's just too many weapons on this Thunder team, man. Like they just have so many guys that can score. SGA is going to get his. Holmgren's going to get his. Caruso's now probably going to get his. Dort is has another year. He's going to get his. They had Hartenstein. There's another big body that can score. This team is loaded. And I just think there's so many mouths to feed that having him try and get to 21 points, it's basically a 2-point jump from last year to this year per game. And okay, they don't have Giddey, but they filled in his spot real nice and they added, Hartenstein. So I just think he's going to come up just short just because it's a matter of how many guys that they have that can score. So Jalen Williams 20.8 seems a little too ambitious for me. So what's another player prop you like?
Yeah, so like my last assist one will be Tyus Jones over 7.2 assists. Now, so last season, it was the first season he stepped out of the shadow of Ja Morant and got to be the starter. And he averaged 7.3 in 29.3 minutes per game. And that was with a Washington Wizards team that was one loss away from, the worst record in the NBA. Now he's surrounded by, obviously, Durant. Booker gets to move to his natural shooting guard position. I think there's some assists that'll go Nurkic's way, obviously. Bradley Beal's another bucket. I think we'll see his minutes increase. And as a starter, considering he cleared this last year with the Wiz, I think with the Suns team this year, more minutes go over. And I think you could also do at 8 plus assists is plus 300. I think that's worth a small sprinkle as well.
Isn't it amazing that the Washington Wizards, we were laughing at the Wizards, just thought, like, why do they just keep doing favors for the good teams?
Right.
They somehow Golden State got out of the Jordan Poole contract with them, and it's like, well, what does Phoenix really need? Man, they need a point guard. Oh, here you go. Here's Tyus Jones. I think that's a great play. We love Tyus Jones whenever Ja Morant would not play, and the books completely wouldn't realize that he was getting ready to score 20 points because he was going to play 38 minutes. So, I think we both really like Tyus Jones. I like that one.
Yeah, he's on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm just going to say he's on the Suns now. I mean, last year they were it's top 5 in shooting, top 10 in scoring. It's a big jump from the Wizards team. And he just managed to get there last year. I think his minutes go up as well, 29 per game last season. I think we see him go up this year.
Be fun to see if the Wizards are worse. than last year. So
Can't be much worse.
it can't be much worse. I'm going to go to rebounds, and I'm going to go to Jared Allen, and I'm going to go under 10.2 rebounds. So he averaged 10.5 rebounds last year, and then 9.8. Here's the thing: Evan Mobley only played 50 games last year, so Jared Allen had a nice little stretch where he didn't have any competition for rebounds, which is where you saw some of those huge numbers. So if Mobley plays more than 50 games, Allen is going to take a step back. And here's the other thing: there's a potential he gets traded if Cleveland decides that this Mobley Allen thing in the front court just isn't working, and if they see Mobley taking the next step, I could see them going after some kind of wing scorer or just adding something. And if Jared Allen goes to a different team, I think his numbers go down. So I'll take Jared Allen under 10.2 rebounds. I love the player, love his game. I think he fits in really good with Cleveland, but it just gets so clunky with him and Mobley out there sometimes. And if you're Cleveland and you got to move off one of them, it's going to be Jared Allen. So I'll lean to his under 10.2. What's your next one?
So this one's going to be under player specials. It's by like those starting the starting five specials, but it's Victor Wembanyama to record a 20+ rebound game at plus 140. It's not as unlikely as you think it was. There was 20 different players that did it last season, 42 separate occasions. Sabonis did it 8 times. Wembanyama, he did it twice. And he had 18.
Wow.
He had 18 twice as well. And his minutes are going to go way up this year. They were ultra conservative with his minutes as a rookie. Also, the team only won 22 games last year. Their win total is 36.5. They're going to be potentially competing for a play-in spot. So I just love this at plus money. He did it twice. Like I said, I thought it was like, I was like, wow, 20 rebounds in a game. How many times did that happen? 42 times last year, 20 different guys. And Wembanyama was 8th in rebounds per game. Everyone in the top 12 that was eligible recorded a 20+ rebound game last season. Like I said, Sabonis had 8. The one risk with this is that it's live the second he plays a game. So if he were to get hurt, that's the one kind of risk with this play. But if he stays healthy through the year, he's gonna cash this one at plus 140. It's a great play.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
It's a great one. Money's already come in on it, so that's a great one. Was Andre Drummond one of them? I feel like I knew it.
Well, did you see he admitted to missing shots to pad his stats?
Of course he did. Of course he did. He's the Dennis Rodman. I'm just like,
right.
Oh, I blew a layup. Of course he did.
Yeah, he was on that list of players that got the job done.
I knew it. I knew anytime you have one of these random rebounding records, it's always like, oh, and Andre Drummond. It's like 3 people have done it. It's Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, and Andre Drummond. So that's a good one. I really like that one. I'm going to go back to assists. Player averages. We're going to go assists, and I'm going to go with LeBron, and I'm going to go over his 7.9 assists. So here was his averages in 2022, 2023. 28.9 points and 6.8 assists. Last year, 25.7 points. So he drops almost 2 points and 8.3 assists. And if you watched him, it made all the sense in the world when he would take it was there's got to be a name for what he did, like where he's playing, but he's not actually like using a bunch of energy on every single possession. It was like he would on offense, he was able to just not really do much, but get an assist. And it feels like that's kind of a little bit more of what he's doing. I still don't know how he's playing back-to-backs, but when he would play a back-to-back, it was all assists. And there's only so much he could do with scoring. I think it's going to be much easier for him to take some of those nights off of trying to score 30 points. And I think he goes more to assists. So I just can't ignore going from 6.8 assists 2 years ago to 8.3 assists last year. So, and they got some guys that can shoot. Obviously it's not a real deep roster, but the guys that do come out can make some 3-pointers. So I think getting assists for him is going to be one of his main goals this year. So
yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah. All right, what's your last player prop?
It's actually a 3-pointers made prop, and it's going to be under the 2+ made per game, and it's Naz Reid. You need to make 2+ 3-pointers per game, and it's sitting at plus 170, so it's another nice plus money play for a future. During the season last year, he averaged 2.1 per game on 5 attempts, but after the All-Star break, 2.5 per game on 6 attempts. No Cat in the mix now. I know that Randall and DiVincenzo are over there, and I think that's a trade that actually, just really quick, that's going to benefit both teams, in my opinion. But I just think Naz Reid, if someone gets hurt on the starting lineup, either Reid or DiVincenzo will be moved into that starting role. And I just see him taking on. He was firing away way more shots after the break last year, and he cleared it even down the season. So give me the over give me 2+ threes per game for Naz Reid.
I like it. There were many times last year when Cat would go out of the game and Reid would come in, and you just didn't notice. Like the offense was fine. Like there was
until
no
the postseason. Yeah, until the postseason.
There was no drop off. So yeah, I'm with you. I actually thought Minnesota got. I just am a sucker for DiVincenzo. I think that guy is so important to playoff teams. He's scared of nothing. He makes big shots. Like I just think that guy, he's like a Drew Holiday type of guy, where it's like where you saw it with Drew with Boston. Like, what a guy to have on your team making a run through the playoffs. You know what I mean?
I like him a lot too, and that was when the 6th man. When I mentioned I went with Buddy Hield. I love Naz Reid and DiVincenzo, but just the situation over there was tough to kind of navigate who's going to win the 6th man between the two of them. And like I said, if there's an injury, neither one of them are projected to be a starter right now. But if there's an injury, one of them is the next man. One of those two is the next man up.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, so those are your player props. We're gonna do our each have our top 3 team totals. Steve, you're over at Sports Memo now, and you got an NBA season pass for $4.99. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's the entire NBA season, including the postseason, for $499. It's $246 off the normal price. And I finished last season really hot, number 1 in the postseason over at Sports Memo. Pulled in 34 units during that span, so you can check that out on my page.
Nice work. You guys know where I'm at over at Wager Talk. I don't have any long-term NBA. We had a really great second half of the year in NBA. We got NHL that's already started off really good. So just excited about that. So all plays are up at Wager Talk. I don't have anything big to promote. Don't tell Johnny. We're not supposed to. It's like, you doing a video without promoting a special? Anyway, shout out to Johnny. All right, let's talk about some wins. I'll let you go first. You and I have not talked at all about these, so I'm pretty excited here to see if we agree or disagree on any of these. Well, real quick though, first, what's the mood in Boston for the Celtics going into this season? Like,
I think it's going to be like almost. I'm psyched for it. I think it's almost like a revenge tour based on Brown getting snubbed in the Olympics, Tatum getting snubbed in the Olympics. When they play, mark those 2 games on the calendar. When they play Golden State, they're gonna, and just like the DiVincenzo when he plays the Knicks. I don't know if you saw that, but he was pretty fired up in a preseason game against them. When they mark those 4 games on the calendar, because DiVincenzo is going to go off against the Knicks, and the Celtics are going to throttle the Warriors if they can. Obviously, with Porzingis not being there at the beginning, it hurts a little bit. But I think that this is another. I think that they're ready to they're set up for a repeat.
You Boston fans, why do you always think everyone is out to get you? Why what is it with Boston fans?
Well, let us enjoy this at least, because the Patriots is not going so well for us. You know what I mean? So let us at least enjoy.
And I guess I would say the rest of the country doesn't care about the Patriots. You guys take it so personally. You guys are like, oh, you guys must be so happy. It's like, I don't really care about the Patriots. What do you mean snub on the Olympics? What do you mean snub? Tatum couldn't
Well,
hit the broadside of a barn in the Olympics. He was
it seemed like his
awful.
teammate. It seemed like his teammates wanted him to play at points, and then Brown doesn't make the team, and they put Derek White makes the team over Jaylen Brown. That's not a little weird.
Okay, so a Boston Celtic didn't make the team and got replaced with another Boston Celtic, and yeah, you say you still have a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they snubbed Jaylen Brown and put some bench player for the Warriors on there. They replaced him with somebody else on the team.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a revenge game. It's gonna be a revenge spot against the Warriors, 100%.
Not for Derek White. It's not.
That's a good point.
Oh man, you Boston fans, man, you guys crack me up.
And we're building something with the Red Sox, by the way. Look out for them next season. We'll talk about that in the spring, though.
Okay, all right. I got to tell you, I didn't. The Boston Celtics over 58.5 didn't make my card, but man, they were close to going over. I just that's such a huge win total.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'll let you go first. What's your first team total go over?
Actually, we're gonna go with an under for the Utah Jazz at 29.5. So they were dead last in defense last year, allowing a close to 120 points per game, 120 points per 100 possessions. And they really just faded down the stretch. They went 5-25 in their last 30 games. I just don't see any reason why they would even want to win this year. I think it's a type of thing where we could see players like, Clarkson, Sexton, Collins potentially end up being trade bait later in the year. And I think that we could almost see a full tank with this team in an attempt to try to get a player like Cooper Flagg or something like that. So give me the under on the Jazz with this type of defense. And they've just faded in both of the last two seasons. It's a small number, but I still think they fall short of it.
God, I did not realize they went. I didn't realize they went 5-25 down the stretch. Wow, that's tanking at its finest there.
Yeah, there was a point where they went hot there was like a point in the season where they had like a 19-5 stretch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but then
people
last
were
30
talking
games,
play-in game.
Yeah, last 30 games, 5-25, and they just don't play a lick of defense. So under on them for me.
I'm going to take an under, similar total. My favorite one is the Toronto Raptors. This team is, man, they look terrible. So they're building around Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickly. Does this sound like the recipe to win 31 games in the NBA? It doesn't for me. The salaries here, Steve. So Scotty Barnes is making $10 million. RJ Barrett $25 million. Bruce Brown is making $23 million. Emmanuel Quickly is making 32. Jakob Poeltl is making 19.5. This is going to blow your mind. They're paying $12.8 million to your old friend Kelly Olynyk. In 2024, this team stinks. I see absolutely no upside. I know you got to bottom out and rebuild, but what do they have? They have hope for Grady Dick, I guess. I don't know, but 31 wins in the NBA. I think this team is going to be bottom of the barrel in the Eastern Conference. So I'm going under on the Raptors as one of my favorites. So, all right, what's your next one?
I'm with you on that one. For this one, we're going for a good team, actually, on and under as well. Denver Nuggets, the number has moved. I got it at 51.5. I think it's down to 50.5. It's just basically them they're going to play for the postseason. I think they learned a lesson last year running themselves into the ground, and they lost a really good perimeter defender and three-point shooter in KCP. I just think they're going to play. They fought for that one seed last year. I don't see them making that mistake again. I think they play for the postseason. We saw them have tired legs, and they're an older team, so I'm going to go under on them.
I agree with this one 100%. I think it was KCP that said we were just exhausted when we made the playoffs. We had to work so hard in the regular season. We were dead. So I'm with you that they don't make that mistake.
Yeah, and if you look at it, Murray struggled the last couple of months. Michael Porter Jr. was like a non-factor in the semifinal. So I just think that it's the type of thing where they're going to compete. Of course, I think they're a great team. They'll potentially be in there in the postseason as well as one of the final 2 or 3 teams. But I just think it's a high number for the regular season. I don't think they care too much about it.
I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to take a high over. I'm going over on the Oklahoma City Thunder at 56.5. Steve, I cannot poke any holes in this team. Like superstar, they got it with SGA. Size, they added it with Hartenstein and now Holmgren. Depth, yeah, you got it. This is one of these teams kind of similar to your Celtics where these are teams that can survive an injury. These are teams that can rest players on back-to-backs and not like have a big drop off. And when I look at this Thunder team, what did they won 57 last year? Like how are they going to be worse? Like how?
Right.
They got rid of Giddey and replaced him Caruso? Like for where they're at right now, that to me seems like an upgrade. Caruso can shoot threes and his defense is really good. You got another year of Jalen Williams. Dort's defense is incredible. Like top to bottom, this is just like to me, this was a team built for a regular season success, night in and night out. You just don't have to put a lot of wear and tear on these guys, and I think they're going to be pushing for 60 plus wins on this one. So I hate taking overs on big numbers for futures, but I cannot see how they come in under 56.5 with this roster. Even if SGA misses like a few weeks,
Right. Yeah.
they're good enough to like not only go 500, but maybe even keep it over 500 a little bit. So Oklahoma City Thunder 56.5 is going to be my second one. What's your next one?
Well, it's a nice segue because I'm going over on another high number myself with Minnesota. Over 52.5 wins. They had 56 last year, and I just don't think losing Cat is it. I think it helps the Knicks, but I also think DiVincenzo and Randall are going to help them. They played great defense. We saw Anthony Edwards is the next generation superstar, basically. They played, like I said, the great defense. Gobert and McDaniels, they were number 1 in points allowed, number 1 in opponent shooting percentage allowed last season. They also still managed to pick up the number 8 pick, Rob Dillingham. So I think he's a nice addition to the team. And if Randall doesn't work out because of that shoulder, there is a player option to trade him and move away from him if he doesn't work out over there. So I just like this. Like I said, I think that trade really benefits both teams. They won 56 last year. We just need 53 to cash this one. So give me the over on the T-Wolves.
Love it. I was one day too late to lock in the Clippers. They were
man.
They were like right there at like 38.5 or 39.5. And
I saw that.
I was like, are you serious? We can get the Clippers. I was like, do we even know that Kawhi is going to start the season? And now he's like not. And so now you lost like 3 or 4 games. I still might lead the under. I think this team's awful. But we have to just scroll all the way to the bottom and take the under on the Washington Wizards, 20.5. They're just perennially, they're just the worst, man. So they lose Tyus Jones, of course. Avita, he's gone. So they added, I mean, poor Valanciunas. He goes from New Orleans to this team, and they got Malcolm Brogdon. You've been through the Malcolm Brogdon experience. He's great until he's hurt, which is all the time. He's kind of like Zion in that, like, the injuries you wouldn't think would be 3-month injuries, but they just turn out to like, oh, I got a pulled hamstring. Oh, you had a couple weeks. No, April. I'll be back April. Sarr, who they drafted, have you seen his shooting numbers in summer league? They're awful, like absolutely awful. And Jordan Poole is still owed $96 million over the next 3 years. This is an all-time historically bad roster. I'm actually surprised that their win total is a little bit higher than the Nets, because I think this is they won 15 games last year. How are they going to add 6 wins with this roster? Valanciunas isn't going to be on this team the whole season. No way. There's too many teams that need a center. They'll do something with him. So I'm going the Wizards under 20.5, just kind of an annual bet to fade them. So All right, I think that wraps it up. What was one of your favorite awards that you were looking at?
Actually, the healed one as the sixth man
Such
was
a
one of
good
my
one.
favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, another one I really liked though is most improved player. I did it as a split bet between Scotty Barnes and Jalen Green, but I was just at 30 to 1, Jalen Green plus 3,000. He just showed a lot of improvement with Udoka as head coach. He had a stretch in March where he was arguably like the best player in the NBA. He averaged 27.7 points per game, 6.3 rebounds per game. And then here's the thing, the addition of Steven Adams, he's a great screen setter. Morant was like significantly better as a shooter when Adams was out there. So they have him on the team now as well. And I think Jalen Green takes the next step at 30 to 1. I think it's just worth like a small sprinkle.
I like that one. I like that one. Yeah, I told I was telling Ski about I was like if Golden State gets the Buddy Hield that we had here in Indiana, you're like they're gonna love him. They're gonna love him. That was one I was like I can't believe they let him go. I that was one guy I was hoping him and Halliburton were going to be around for a while. If you get the Philadelphia version of him, he's in big trouble. But
Yeah,
but
right.
when he was fired away all those thirds, man, when he gets on a hot streak, like I'm telling you, the Golden State fans are just immediately going to go like, "Oh, this is like Klay Thompson light." Like when if he
Right.
can get going, and he'll fit in great. I think that was a completely under the radar signing in the offseason.
That's why I like him as a sixth man because he's not we know he's not afraid to hoist up shots. You know what I mean? He's very durable. And if he can put up 18, 20 points per game, it's a nice spot for him to be the sixth man. There's other guys I like as well, but he was the guy I ended up landing on.
Let's see. What are some other interesting storylines? Oh, your thoughts on Philadelphia and Joel Embiid finally coming to the conclusion he shouldn't play back to backs? Was that
Right.
is that like 4 years too late or like,
That's why I stayed away from them, just because of for really anything because of the injury concerns. It's not just Embiid; it's Paul George as well now. So I think if they stayed healthy, obviously they'd be competing with like the Celtics and the Knicks in the East, but I just don't know if they will. It's tough. Like you said, Embiid is always a question mark to stay healthy for the season. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Boston Celtics, if you had to pick over or under 58.5 on the win total.
I stayed away from it just because it was such a big number. God, as a
I'd go
fan, I want
I'd
to
go
say
I'd go
I
over.
I think so too. I think I lean over, but I just stayed away from it because, like you said, it was just such a big number.
Yeah, I don't think the Porzingis like they're of course their ceiling with Porzingis is like amazing, but you don't need him to rip off a ton of wins in the regular season. I think you guys are going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I think I think they'll be right there with the Knicks, obviously, and then they'll lead the East, obviously, and have the Knicks and the 76ers kind of competing with them as well.
Yeah, and then for my Pacers, did you see the Halliburton video welcoming 50 Cent?
Yeah,
Uh,
I did actually catch that. He looks like he's having a pretty good time over there.
looks like he's enjoying himself. It is as
Yeah,
as as they say around here when Halliburton's around, it is snowing. Uh,
yeah,
so that was one of our favorite futures last year was Pacers over. I think there was like 37 and a half, and now they're like 46 and a half. They're
yeah.
on to us. So
We were ahead on that. We were ahead of the curve on that one big time. We had some great futures last year. That was I think our one loss was what the I can't remember
I
what the one loss
I
was,
can't
but
remember
why
what the
focus
one.
on
Yeah, focus on the
why
wins.
yeah.
Focus on the New York Knicks over the Pacers over. The Chris Paul under points per game was was an
Yeah,
amazing one. So, all right, guys, that's gonna do it. That is Steve Grave. Follow him on Twitter at Steve's Book 22. You can find him on Sports Memo. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Tell us what your best bet is for futures. Thanks for joining us. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see everyone later.
good luck, guys.